we have joining us via Zoom the country director of Amnesty International Nigeria, Mr. Issa Sanusi. He's supposed to be joining us this morning. Oh, I see him. Good morning, Mr. Sanusi. How are you? All right, so let's talk about the Osun elections. We've had so many disappointing situations. We saw the situation, Mr. Fadahunsi. We heard about shootings. Toby was shot in his mother's shop. We've heard about so many disappointing things ahead of the Osun elections. Maybe you can talk to us a little bit about what it is that Amnesty International is worried about when it comes to these elections that have turned into a war in Osun State.
Well, the reason why we are very much worried about what is going on in Osun State in the build-up to the election is because of the fact that there is quite very high level of violence across the state, particularly in 12 local governments, and Osogbo, the state capital, where the violence is more rampant. And analysis done has shown that at least 29 people have been killed over a small period of time. And the majority of these killings took place between May and July. And these are human beings that have been killed in attacks, in assaults, in violent attacks of many forms. And this shows that what we are seeing in Osun State is very dangerous. It can escalate and it can endanger people's lives. And it is time to bring an end to this violence so that people can go out freely and fairly and vote and go back to their activities without fear. And we are deeply concerned, especially following very hateful comments, very hateful instructions given by a senator of the ruling APC to his followers to kill members of other political parties or opposition parties. And this is dangerous. This is the first time in this dispensation where a top official or a top politician is coming out openly and in public, calling on people to kill other human beings because of political difference. This is something big, and this is something that will tell us the kind of thing that is going to happen in Osun State during the election, which is dangerous.
I do have to toss to Ayo right now, even though I watched the Senator Fadahunsi on another TV station where he said it was an AI video. The verification about whether that is an AI video or not is one that we're waiting for. But Ayo has a few questions for you. Go ahead, Ayo.
Well, thank you, Kayla. You know, it is not a secret anymore. The word is out there, the position of Amnesty International on this. Your organization, for instance, has called on the authorities in Nigeria to promote, protect, respect, and fulfill human rights amidst all of the disturbing signs of violence, intimidation, and allegations of interference ahead of this governorship election coming up in a few days. From what you know, what you see, and all of the facts that are available, where is all these coming from? It would seem like every election cycle, we talk about this pre-election violence, and that's all. No plans, no retribution, no scapegoats, so to speak, no consequences. And the next election cycle, we talk about the same thing. Is that a correct assessment of the situation, or what exactly do you think we could be missing that we need to doctor?
Well, what is missing is rule of law, due process of law, and making sure that no one, no matter who he is, no matter what his position is in the polity, no one is above the law. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And that is why politicians continue to exploit people's fault line, either religion or politics or ethnicity whatsoever ahead of elections, and they get away with it. In this country, we have a law that prohibits violence against persons. We also have rules that prohibit discrimination. Our constitution is very clear about this. But unfortunately, it depends on who committed the offense. For example, the senator from Osun State was just invited by the police, and he came out and he continued to make very, very spurious claims that the video where he was caught instructing his followers to kill others is AI, which is quite shocking. And the fact that the way and manner police handle the matter is sending a very wrong message, because just imagine if it is the other way around. Just imagine if it is a member of a leading politician in the opposition that says the same thing. You definitely will imagine what will happen to him. I think this senator should be a litmus test for this government to show that it is a government that supports rule of law, and it cannot have sacred cows, and its members cannot have a license to preach hate, to incite violence. And therefore, what is missing in all this conversation is the rule of law, and the fact that there are people who are above the law in Nigeria right now. Depending on which party they belong to, they will be shielded from corruption, they will be shielded from accountability for whatever they do. And that is very, very dangerous. And we have to challenge it and make sure that no one is above the law, and the country is run based on the rule of law and our constitution. That is the only way we are going to have peace, prosperity, economic development, and we can be able to make progress politically as well and build a good political culture without dangerous people who can just say whatever they like just because they want a vote. But the election in Osun this time is different because at a point, the police announced that they have deployed 15,000 policemen to that state. Just imagine a small state like Osun, 15,000. So the tension is already there. And what we are really concerned is a situation whereby some actions can intimidate people, can harass them, can scare them not to go and vote. And that is when you will end up with voter apathy. And that is how people are deprived indirectly of their civic rights. And these are very dangerous things because voter apathy is increasing because of fears, mostly about violence. And we are not doing anything about it. And I believe that this Osun election, the people who committed atrocities during this election should be used as an example to send a very strong message that 2027 election is going to be violence-free and with accountability.
Well, there's something that is largely or slightly, whichever way, related to this, something that former President Obasanjo had said, and he said it quite a number of times, and a few people have also challenged it in terms of how it affects our democratic, our electoral processes. Excuse me, and that's the fact that the democracy we are practicing in Nigeria, bar Africa, is not customized, so to speak, to African systems. We have a generally, naturally patriarchal, monarchical system, particularly in Nigeria and our various cultures. And so a democracy that preaches winner takes it all doesn't much differ from the same monarchical style of government that we've had over time. Is that an argument that you think could also be fueling this whole idea of electoral violence that we are not even, or do you think is of value?
Yeah, we know that our cultures and our traditions have impact on how we handle matters or how we approach issues, for example. You cannot compare the mindset of a voter or a politician in the United States or in the United Kingdom with a voter in Abuja or in Osogbo. You cannot compare the two. Our cultures have significant impact on how we behave, how we approach things, how we build institutions. But I want to make the point that we are all human beings, and I believe that as human beings, we are packaged to do the right thing. We are packaged to respect the rights of others. We are packaged to respect the sacredness of life. We are packaged not to be violent. Therefore, I don't think that this entire argument is completely right, because as human beings, we have other people who are doing elections without the kind of violence we are seeing in Nigeria, without the kind of incitement we are witnessing in Nigeria. They are human beings like us, and they also have their own peculiar cultures. Therefore, to some extent, I believe that, but to to a large extent, I don't think this matters in this argument, because we are meant to do the right thing and we should do it. We can overcome our cultural differences and the impact of our cultures, patriarchy, hierarchy, and many other different cultures that we have. We have to make sure that we make people understand that even though we have differences in religion, culture, and everything, but doing the right thing is human, and we are humans, and we have no option but to do the right thing. Make sure the election is not war. Election is not about killing people, and election is not about subduing people, harassing them, intimidating them, killing them, overpowering them because you think they cannot do anything. I believe that we should believe that as human beings, we have to do the right thing. There is no any other option.
There has been a lot of calls for voter education, voter awareness, and the rest of it. And assignments or tasks always go to the role of INEC, the role of political parties, the role of the voter themselves, the role of civil society organizations such as yours. And historically also we've heard that the Osun elections has recorded something around 35% of voter turnout, and as you have also said, the trend seems to be decreasing over time. How do we address this? It's just, what, 24, 48 hours or so to the election, and we're still talking about this. What are the chances? What do you see happening? What kind of voter turnout do you anticipate in the on Saturday?
Well, definitely, first of all, we should expect voter apathy, because the build-up to the election, the unfortunate remarks of that unfortunate senator, and many other incidents, like 73 incidents recorded over the last, between May and June, will definitely discourage a lot of people. Those who love their lives and want to live their lives will definitely avoid polling units on Saturday. And it's not because they don't want to vote, it's because they want to live. They don't want anybody to kill them because they decide to vote a different political party. That is very dangerous, because it's not only Osun State. If you look at the figures of the last election, last presidential election, it's awful. The voter apathy is really awful. In other countries, those kind of elections cannot hold, because a situation whereby only 38 or 33% came out to vote has a question on the integrity of the entire election. It means majority of the people are indifferent, not interested, and that should worry a lot of us. Therefore, what will happen in Osun State is going to be very, very dangerous, but I believe that we still have the opportunity. The government, federal government has the opportunity right now. Political parties across divides have the opportunity now to say that, look, all these things, we have to be calm. This is not the end of the world. And the fact that someone is going to lose or someone is going to win does not mean the end of life. We have to have the spirit of accepting defeat and welcoming victory. We have to make that advocacy. There is still time. And the government has to tell anybody, whether the person is associated with the ruling national party or whatever, that they don't have the license to do incitement, to do violence, and they don't have the right to suppress others. And this is very important, because we have election coming, one of the most contentious elections coming nationally, and we have to use Osun as a ground to show that in Nigeria, election will be about the people, the rule of law, and making sure that nobody, no matter who he is, can hijack that system or use people's fears to prevent them from casting their votes. I believe that we still have the chance, and I believe that there is still opportunity to redeem the political atmosphere in Osun State.
At least 29 people have been killed. 29 people killed in 73 incidents across Osun State. But the elections are still going to hold. Escalating violence. There are reports of escalating violence and more clashes expected in Oshogbo, Ede, Ife, Oriade, Ijebu, Ijesha, Ilobu, and Ikire. In fact, tomorrow we have somebody who has put people in all of these hotspots that will be giving us updates as the violence on. It's such an annoying situation. An election is supposed to be a celebration of democracy, a contest where people come and exercise their franchise. We can celebrate the fact that we're a democratic nation. The winner wins, the loser loses, and everybody keeps on going. But it's a war. 15,000 policemen have been deployed by the police. Apart from that, there's NSCDC, there's army. Are we going to war? A competition? And then 29 people dead because of a political office? Mr. Sanusi, I don't like saying the same things over and over again, because I've seen a statement like this from your office before in other elections that were contentious. I've seen a statement like this from your office before. But how do we move forward from here? What do we do differently? Before the elections, Amnesty International, the Peace Committee, they come get all the stakeholders together, and you say we sign something called a peace accord. After signing the peace accord, 29 people are dead. So what happens after? What kind of things should happen following the fact that peace accords have been broken, lives have been lost, in something that's supposed to be a celebration that's turned into senseless, mindless violence? What should happen? Should we strengthen the peace committee such that when peace accords are broken, somebody can be suspended, someone can be punished for these activities that we're seeing, like the ones in Osun State?
Well, Amnesty International, what we are doing differently, I don't want to give all the details here, but we are planning to do something different, because one of the things we are planning to do this time, because of the early signs that ethnicity and religion will be exploited in this Osun election, or possibly other elections that are coming up in January. What we plan to do is to make sure that we documented these things, and individuals identified, for example, like the senator in Osun State that called his followers to kill members of the opposition party or ruling party in that state. We are going to document what they have done, and we are going to take it to the international level. We are going to make sure that they will never have peace again. Because anybody who advocated violence, anybody who incited others to kill others just so that he can be in power or his party should win or manipulate election, that person does not deserve any respect, any decorum, does not deserve to even go to any other country. He should stay in Nigeria where he can get away with what he is doing. So what we are doing this time is compiling these things, making a case, an international case, to make sure that these people are brought to justice. Justice is not limited to Nigeria. Somebody can be held to account somewhere in the world, and we are exploiting all these methods, and we are also going to make sure that we do international name and shame. Amnesty International has branches in 150 countries. And we will make sure that in all these countries, these people are named and shamed, and we alert the governments of other countries about how dangerous this person is. And that, I believe, is the beginning. And I believe that as Nigerians, we also have to demand the best. When the government is not doing the right thing, we have to tell them to do it. They have to do it. We are not their servants. We are not slaves. Therefore, they have to do the right thing. I believe that one of the things that is allowing these things to continue to happen is because there was no consequence. And those who are supposed to hold these people to account are not interested. In fact, they are enjoying these things possibly. And that is why they continue to happen. While people are being killed, just imagine, in a very small state like Osun, people being killed, 29. Just imagine that. Who are these human beings? You know, there are people with lives, people with families, people with jobs, people with aspirations and ambitions, and their lives cut short just because somebody want to be riding in a convoy with siren? Is that really the level of degeneration we have reached? Therefore, we have to make sure that we demand the right thing. We are not slaves. We are not in the age of Atlantic slave trade. We have to say we cannot tolerate it. We want peace. People should be free. Voting, polling units should not be like battlegrounds. They should be a place of peace. They should be a place of assertion of people's freedom and liberty to do and choose what they want politically without fear. Therefore, we have to do that, and we believe that the plan we have for this election will quite make a difference, because all these politicians using religion or hiring notorious cash for hire clerics on either Christian or Islamic side, we are going to call them out and make sure that they will never do it again. They will never have the opportunity to do it.
I think maybe that's the update on Senator Fadahunsi's story. I know he was called in by the police yesterday, was grilled for 2 hours. I also saw the video where he said it's AI. But just so we're clear, you say this senator, based on the things that you have heard as Amnesty International, you are going to send his name to the 150 countries that Amnesty International is represented in, so that some kind of restriction is given to him or something, just so we're clear that that's what you're telling us this morning.
Yes, we are going to use him as an example, because this is the first time we had so many other terrible politicians say terrible things ahead of the election. But this one is exceptional. A situation whereby somebody came out on television, on record, saying that kill them wherever you find them. I believe that that person does not deserve any peace again, because advocacy of hatred is a crime under international law as well as Nigerian laws. Therefore, we are going to use this man as an example to show that the impunity by Nigerian politicians cannot continue, and we cannot tolerate it again. The people have to hold them to account if the government could not do that.
Mr. Issa Sanusi, Country Director, Amnesty International Nigeria, joining us from London. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for